Hi there, welcome to another exciting and informative episode of The Realtor. Today on The Realtor we get to discuss a quite popular house design, and not only that, today on the show we have an expert who will decisively tell us more about how you can put up your own bungalow and how you can do it using the professionals and the right methods as required by local and government authorities here in Kenya.
My name is Farson Gotv, CEO of Pacific Trade Investment Limited that deals with construction of affordable housing, whereby we do construction from bungalows, mansionettes to apartments. Today we are discussing a concept called bungalow, which most Kenyans have had a chance to see it, and most people are able to afford to do the same kind of a house. A bungalow house is a house that is designed without an upper floor. So everything is set on the ground floor.
So basic floor?
Yes, yeah, basic floor for everything. So I would say mostly this happens in rural areas, and even now the concept also is catching up in in urban areas. But then again, also it depends with the size of land, because there are very many practicalities about the bungalow, because also it also suits people at different ages. So I think as we continue this conversation, we'll be able to explain to you the age group that is fit for bungalows, and then the advantages and disadvantages of the same. The particular size suitable for bungalows, but in a case whereby like you get a plot of 40 by 60, I would advise you not to do a bungalow, because again the space that it will take will be more than the land. But then again, if you have a plot which is from 50 by 100, you can be able to achieve a good bungalow with let's say a minimum of 3 bedrooms, and then again maybe you want to do what you call a garden kitchen. Yes. So mostly we advise people who have land between an eighth to a quarter to do bungalows. Yeah.
All right, so we have now acquired our piece of land, or our parcel of land, or a plot for that matter. Are there different designs of bungalows that one can consider, or are there different ways you can do a bungalow so that our viewers have a variety to choose from?
Yes, I would say in construction there are very many designs for any kind of concept of a house. Like in bungalows, I would say there are thousands and thousands of designs. Wow. What matters is the overall outlook of the bungalow, yes. The kind of entry porch you'd want, and then mostly what people look at are the pitches. Because this concept has very many pitches. You can do a 45-degree pitch, you can do a 35-degree pitch, and the lowest degree you can do is like 18 degrees pitch. So most people look at the pitch, and then also the outlay of the bungalow. Because also depending on the setup and the location where you want to build your house, there are also those factors you need to consider. Another thing is the balconies, because you see people have known bungalows not to have balconies. Yeah. But if you see even the house behind us, we have been able to conceptualize a design that has bungalows where people even can sit down and relax.
We'll definitely get to see the balcony in this particular house later on, but there is a word that you have mentioned that might not be familiar with most of our viewers. The pitch, as you have said it. Can you tell us in a layman's language what exactly it means when it comes to designing a bungalow? The pitch is the roof pitch. There are some houses that when you walk around you see they have a very sharp roofing, and then also there are some that have what we call like the Scottish design, whereby the roof is so the pitch is very low. This factor also is also dependent on the kind of roofing sheet that you want to use, because let's say when you're using the normal mabati, the iron sheets, you can do any kind of pitch. But then again, there is a new concept like doing what we call decra, or doing what we call stone coated roofing. The pitch has to be high because of the flow of water, because they are stone coated, so the flow of water will not be sharp if you don't do a sharp pitch. And then also there is another concept which we call like versatile, elegantile and oriental kind of roofing sheet. So those ones are a bit dynamic. You can be able to achieve either a low pitch or high pitch. But somebody who is doing a bungalow with a stone coated roofing materials, or even the clay wax, the old clay wax, we advise you to do something which is not less than 38 degrees for the same. Can we say that the roofing of a house to some extent determines the outlook or the way we see a house?
Definitely. The roof pitch and even the roof design, it can make your house to look good, or maybe to look a normal house. So what Kenyans are doing currently, they are trying to compete on the concept of the way they roof their houses. If you have seen around, there are very many designs that have come up, and you can also you can go to those designs and you see them. So people are trying to capitalize on the designs of the roofing to make their houses unique.
There's one particular design when it comes to the roofing that has caught my attention, and I'm sure most of our viewers have come across it, whereby we don't actually get to see the roofing of the house, and yet this is a grounded house, or rather it's not a story building or a mansion. You cannot ideally see the roof, but it's sort of flat or hidden. Would you kindly tell us more about this particular design and why it's becoming so popular?
It's favorable. What is happening, that what we call hidden roof. So from one side you cannot be able to see the roof, but once you get maybe on top of that house, you can be able to see the roof. Exactly. The only advantage is I would say the aesthetics of the house. It makes it look very beautiful, but then again it has to be done by an expert, because just in case you have maybe leakages and other issues with the roofing, now it becomes a problem. Another thing is when you want to achieve that kind of roof, you also have now to raise the size of your house, because mostly the houses that we do from 10 to 11 courses. That is a normal construction standard. But then again, now for you to achieve a hidden roof on a bungalow, the house has to go between 12 to 13 courses, so that you can be able to achieve like a 15-degree pitch on the top roof, and then you hide the roof.
Let's talk about the materials used in constructing a house, in this case a bungalow. What are the most common or favorites of these materials, and are they available locally for one to get them?
Currently we have quite a number of options for construction materials, but then I would say like 95% of Kenyans they use the convection way of stones and bricks, and then again there is a new technology of what we call the APS, which are prefabricated bolts that you can be able to achieve your house within the shortest time possible. But then again also there is also the concept of even containers. People are coming up with designs whereby you can do containers to put up your house. But I would advise, if you want to build something permanent, something long lasting, it is better to do the normal convection way of using either machine cut stones or quarry stones, or if you're able to get like bricks, they are very good bricks, good quality bricks that can be able to help you achieve the concept of the house.
Now, in terms of costs, when you look at these different materials that are available, which of them would you say is most cost effective or most affordable?
I would say for affordability and the concept of cost, what is happening, there are two factors that people are not aware of, and people need information on the same. If you do house with the new technology, like let's say you're doing the EPS, the only thing that you do is you beat time, but not the cost. Now, if you do the house with the normal construction processes, if let's say like this house at Bangalore, we do them within 4 months, maximum of 5 months. But then again, when you use now this new technology of doing the EPS and the panels, you can achieve that house within 2 months. But then there are some factors that remain constant, because the foundation of the house has to be done the way it should be done, and then also there is the rim beam and the roofing and the finishes. So the only thing that I've seen, because out of experience and out of doing a lot of houses within Kenya, the only thing that I've seen is time. You beat time versus it's time versus cost. So you find there are people who say that you can save 20% if you use the new technology, but then from experience we can tell you for a fact you cannot save 20%
from your vast experience.
Yes, from the vast experience. So I would advise you, if you're able to get local materials like stones and bricks, go for them.
Would you, from your experience in the industry, term the bungalow as a favorite design for most builders?
Yes, bungalow is a favorite design. I would say that is when I was talking about the age bracket. Because if you come to my office and maybe you're like 60 years, 65 years, you're 55 years, mostly those old people, we would advise them and we prefer them to do bungalows, because they're able to walk within the house easily. There are no stairs.
You don't want an old man going up the stairs
not wanting, but you see, depending on the age, the age group. So bungalows are very practical for such kind of people. People who really live with disability as well. Also, they are very practical to have bungalows. And then also, when you have good size of land, bungalows are very good. Let's say you have like half an acre, you have a quarter of an acre, you can be able to do a very nice bungalow. So another factor is the size of the land, as I said earlier. So I would advise somebody who want to do a bungalow, you check on those factors. Then again, also it also depends with the taste and preferences of the client, because there are people who they love bungalows. There are people who say that if I'm not in a mansion, I don't find like I own a home. So it also depends with the personal preference. Right. Yes, and then again, another thing, there is also a myth that when you do a bungalow, when you do a mansion, you pay twice as a bungalow, which is I would say is a common myth. So I would say any kind of concept of the house, you need to sit down with professionals, and then they can be able to guide you on the costing.
One of the things that Kenyans and most people who want to put up a house are oblivious to is the fact that they tend to avoid using professionals when it comes to construction. Is this something you would tell them to look into, considering that they tend to avoid these particular costs? Is it something one should really consider when putting up his building?
Yes, I would say there's also another myth that we need to bust. People fear professionalism because of cost. But I would say where we are today, we have a lot of professionals in different fields in construction, and the fees that they charge, if you sit down with an architect, you sit down with an engineer, you sit down with a QS, how do you negotiate? They can be able to come to your level. Because the challenge is people think when you involve consultants, is now you're in the level of like the government project. So even these common mwananchi, they can be able to afford those guys, and it's very important to work with that team. Like now in our company, what we do, we have a team of all those professionals so that they can be able to take our clients through. Because construction is like a train. It needs a lot of cabins to make it work. So you need an architect to do for you the layout of the plan. Maybe if you need a structural engineer, maybe for you to do what you call the structural drawing. You need a QS who is able now to give you the cost details of that project. And then again also there is also another course that has come in called construction management. The people have done construction management. Somebody who's done construction management touches a little bit of architecture, a little bit of engineering, a little bit of QS. So they're able to manage your project well. So once you involve that team, at the end of the day, you get a very good project rather than now using the Juakari ways of handling things.
So in short, there is a